Welcome to Subramani. Let us break some of the myths that are there in the market today. You hear very often from many people saying that the economy is in very bad shape, but the market is going places, which means something is wrong with the market. Let us break this first myth. You must have heard this very often, right? So let us understand which are the industries which are affected the most by this COVID. Obviously, travel, leisure, and services industry have been must have been hit by the maximum. So your local, your carpenter, your tailor, or rather your even your istriwala, your taxi driver, your carpenter, plumber, painter, these are the people who have been hit the maximum. And obviously travel, tourism, so that means your airline and your hotels, these obviously would have been hit the maximum. What is the impact of all this on equity markets? It's zilch. Really, these industries do not matter as far as the equity market is concerned. These are not even represented in the Sensex. They are not even there. Forget whether they are there to the extent of 1%. Hotels and airlines in India currently at least are too small to matter at all in the Sensex and in the Nifty. So the impact of this will never ever be felt on the market capitalization. Yes, it will be felt in the number of SIPs going down, because all those taxi drivers, pilots, carpenters, masons, you name them, and what have you, all their SIPs will stop. Yes, companies may cut down salaries by 30-40% even in other industries like say automobile or tires or auto ancillaries. So yes, those SIPs will stop, but those companies which are hit are not the ones which are there too much in the market. So to that extent, the market will not be hit by these changes. Yes, the economy will slow down, no doubt about it, maybe a percentage or two here and there in the GDP over the next few years, but the base effect itself will start making the economy look good in the next year. So understand this. Secondly, the connection between the industry and the stock market, or how the economy is doing and the stock market, is there is no doubt. But since the 1990s or maybe 2007, 2008 onwards, the markets are run by the reserve banks of the world, which means the Fed decides how much money to pump in, and those are the things which impact the market far more than the sheer economics, right? Thirdly, how much money a company makes is not just a function of the free economy, right? So you have services like medical services and pharmaceutical industry. Obviously they are doing well. If you see the price of Apollo Hospital, it has hit an all-time high, but it does not require a PhD in economics or in pharmacology or in the service sector economy to know that their beds are full, they're getting paid, they're making good money, and therefore their EPS is likely to be up, and therefore the price has gone up. That is very clear linkage. Similarly, the linkage in the international market, anybody who tells you that tech stocks are overpriced is wrong, because they've all become platform based. You can't live without Google. You keep searching on Google. You can't live without YouTube. You can't live without, LinkedIn has become so popular, right? So you are using those things. Why are you denying? Why do you read Peter Lynch and say Peter Lynch says buy shares of companies that you use? Of course, he doesn't say that, but people often quote Peter Lynch saying, oh, Peter Lynch says if you are familiar with the product and if you think more people are using it, buy those products. That is not true again, right? So if you are buying Google and Facebook services on a regular basis, on an hourly basis, why would those share prices not go up? You are buying, you are using their services, you are using their ads, their ad revenue is going up. When their ad revenue goes up, the price will go up. And they are not very expensive. I don't think Facebook is at a PE of more than 30, right? and you're willing to pay 70 to Nestle in India. So go and check what you are doing. You're willing to pay a much higher price to Nestle than what you're willing to pay to Facebook or Google. Surprising, right? So first of all, there are two entities, economy and the stock exchanges. They are connected, there is no doubt, but still remember they are two separate entities. You don't expect them to go up like this and come down like this. This could remain here, this could go up, then this would catch, and then this could go up higher. So there is a correlation, but it is not 100% established. It is not 0, it is not 1, it is somewhere in between, right? The fact that the Fed is pumping in money, I'm not saying that is the only reason, because the Fed pumps in money, all the banks around the world pump in money, which has made one factor of production look almost free. Look, when you do business, there is a person taking risk, who is putting in his own money, there is a banker who is lending money, and there is a labor who is giving his services, and there is a person who is given the premises on which you have to pay rent. Everybody has to be paid equally, but suddenly if one factor does not have to be paid at all, which is interest, obviously the spoils of that will be shared by the other three. How much each person will get depends on the market deciding which factor should get how much. So don't get into markets should do, equity market should do what the economy does, right? Risk-free interest does not also depend on what the Reserve Bank does. The Reserve Bank can keep on saying please lend money, but a banker will lend money only when he is sure that he will get back his loan amount and the interest. As long as that doesn't happen, interest rates will not change, or even with lower interest rates, people will not borrow. So suddenly you will have housing loan available at 7.25%, but people may not be willing to borrow and buy a house if they are not sure whether they are going to retain the jobs. To me, my ability to repay is very important before I borrow. Rate of interest is not the most important thing. It is perhaps secondary, right? So the fact that so much of money is being pumped in, will it lead to higher inflation? I doubt whether it will lead to higher inflation. In fact, the worry for Indian companies should be that will the demand fall so much that there is stagflation. I don't think we need to worry too much about inflation. Yes, if you are retired, then inflation is going to hurt you because your real interest rates are likely to only fall. So even if there is some inflation, interest rates may not fall, but if there is no inflation, according to the government, interest rates are likely to fall, and if interest rate falls and there is inflation, the retired people would be hurt, or people depending on assets for income would be hurt. Not necessarily older people, but anybody who is dependent only on income from assets that they own will be hurt. There is another worry that there will be mass unemployment. Yes, there will be mass unemployment, but in a country like India, we have not worried too much ever about mass unemployment. People find something to do. Yes, if more people are released out of agriculture and they come into the markets, that is going to be one thing. And secondly, the worry is the COVID-related job losses are very unlikely to be filled up. So if 100 jobs have been lost, maybe only 50-60 will be filled up. And the same person might come back or somebody else might come back. But the way we do things will change so much that the 40% of the jobs lost will not be replaced. So those kind of people will be again unemployed, some of them unemployable, right? So those are the things to worry about. But yes, full employment is far away, and we will have a large unemployed force away, wondering what to do and not having enough jobs. I think these are two or three of the myths that I wanted to break. As and when I will do more of these things of myth breaking rather than or explaining why the market is doing what it is doing. Simplifying markets seems to be an important part of my making smart people richer. Thank you.